All right, guys, I think we should start now for those people that turned up on time. Thanks very much for attending the school. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world, because this is a global call. Um, on this call, I'm going to share a little bit of background on myself, and I'm going to spend quite a bit of time talking about the due diligence that I've done personally as a business person on the company, because I think that's really important. If you're looking to become part of Cash FX, you want to know that you're with a good home, and this is a project that's going to be around long term. And then I'm going to spend a bit of time going through how we make money with this company. And as you'll see, this is a business that I think will really change a lot of people's lives. It's a really important business with what's going on in around the world at the moment. So it gives me great pleasure to present it to you. So I'll start off just a bit of background on myself. I'm a company director. I've been a director for a long time. These days, I'm not a director all the time. I sort of dip in and out whenever I want to. Recently, I was a director of a company called Deval, which is a pharmaceutical company developing an autoimmune and anti-inflammatory serum called Ames Pro. I also invest in startup companies. I've invested a significant sums of money over the years. And part of that process is obviously due diligence, which I'm going to talk about a bit later on. I also help companies raise funds for projects. We're currently working on projects from everything from 20 to 200 million, everything from satellites through to state-of-the-art computer systems. Interestingly, because of the current market conditions, a lot of investors are now holding on to their money and being very cautious. So, it's quite interesting to see what's going on because of what's happening around the world. And I've also been in network marketing for about 20 years. Originally, I was a sales director in the city of London. It was a high pressure job, very well paid, but I didn't like it. It wasn't the pressure that I didn't like. I didn't like the linearity of the income, because I remember that every January I'd sort of go into the office. We'd had a great year the previous year, and I was starting all over again from scratch. And I had to perform it. If I had a good year, great, I'd make a lot of money. If I didn't, I was fired. I didn't like that concept very much. So the pressure was always on. And I looked at my friends in traditional businesses, and I didn't like that either, because they were also under the cosh all the time, always trying to get that next sale or whatever it was. So I saw network marketing as a way of leveraging myself in creating a passive income stream and getting myself out of the rat race, which fortunately for me, it did just that. I've now, as I said, been in the industry for 20 years. I've done everything from product-based businesses through to financial businesses. I've kind of been out of the industry for a little bit, but Cash FX is what brought me back into the business. I was phoned by a friend of mine, John Kinnear. John is someone I respect his opinion. He's a successful businessman. He's made millions of dollars over the years in various ventures, from cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, through to, he's also done very successfully in network marketing. He was with a product-based business. And he's someone that I know to be very analytical. Whenever he's looking at a project, he's very cautious. He's a real maths man. He looks at all the numbers. So when he approached me regarding Cash FX back in sort of early July, I realized that it was obviously something worthwhile looking at. And what I saw really impressed me. And as a result, I came into the business at the end of July. And since then, we've been doing a lot more due diligence on the company. John in particular, he flew out to Panama, met the owners, spent quite a bit of time with them. John has also got a background in trading, so he really understands that. He met the traders, he looked at what they were doing. He also looked at the rewards plan and saw that the maths really adds up on the project. So he saw it as a long-term project. He also visited the offices. And I remember when he was coming back, he just said to me, wow, he said, what these guys have set up is genuinely special. And since then, we've all been working closely with the owners. I mean, they are very transparent and open to everyone. For example, Waskar does a call 3 times a week for everyone in the business. Hang on just a second, can we just make sure that everyone's muted? There we go. So John in particular started working very closely. He's been helping them with their marketing, and just recently he's actually become the marketing director of the company. So we've got a very close tie with the owners. We've seen what they're doing firsthand, and we've been mightily impressed. And since I've been involved with the company, everything the company said they were going to deliver, they have delivered. They've been like clockwork. Really, really special working with them. So let me just start off a little bit, just share my screen with you. And just go through some of the due diligence indicators that we've looked at that made us feel very confident with regard to recommending this business to others. So first of all, let's just have a look at the market the company's in. The foreign exchange market, or the Forex market, was a big tick box for me because this is a market that has the liquidity in it. I get pitched on a lot of projects from all over the world, and often they're very good money-making projects. The problem is with them is that as you have a network marketing business is a business that grows, and you can end up with hundreds of thousands of members, and often the markets in those areas, they don't have enough liquidity in the market to enable you to grow into that. Everything from Bitcoin, Bitcoin's again, it's $100 billion market cap, which is relatively small. And the great thing about the foreign exchange market is the biggest traded market in the world. It's a $5.3 trillion a day market. That is an absolutely massive market. You could put all the other markets together and they'd make up a tiny fraction of what the Forex market makes up. And so, as I said, the importance here is that as cash FX grows in the coming months and years, they could be trading billions of dollars a day, and it won't be an issue in this market. The banks trade billions of dollars a day in this market as well, and that's how they can do that, because there's the liquidity in the market. So that was really one of the first tick boxes for me. The other thing that was important to us, which has now become exceedingly important, is the fact that the Forex market is historically proven to be recession-proof. Well, guess what? Obviously, with what's going on around the world now, we are potentially going into a really extraordinary recession. But the key thing about the Forex market is what it is. It's basically the differences between the currencies around the world. So you've got the British pound versus the Japanese yen, and they fluctuate in price between each other. And because of those fluctuations, you can trade and make money. So even in a recession, doesn't matter what's happening to the stock markets or anything else around the world, there's still going to be those variations. One of the things that, again, was very interesting for me, which is a recent development, obviously because of what's happened with the virus, is the way the cash FX traders have adapted to this current market. Because whilst there is more volatility in the market, volatility in itself is not an issue, but what could be is unpredictability. So we've got a market here that is, well, it's unprecedented what's going on around the world. And if you know what traders do, what they do is they look at the markets around the world, they see what's going on, and they make judgment calls and how they trade from there. And of course, if you're good at that, you can assess what particular currency is going to go up against another or down, or etc. So they can judge the market. But in a market like now, there is potential unpredictability there, and as a result, what they've done is they've dialed back the risk. So when you're in a normal market, what the traders, good traders, can do is they can push the risk a little bit more. It means that they will lose a little bit more than they would normally, but the bottom result, the end result, is you end up with more money at the end of the day. Whereas in a market where there's potential unpredictability going on, what they do is they dial back the risk, which means you earn a little less money, but what it's doing is protecting the fund. So the very fact that they did that was quite important for me, because I could see that, again, what they were doing is protecting the fund, which is the most important thing. And in fact, John Wilson, one of the senior trader of the team, he actually was talking about this, the fact that if they were trading their money, they'd probably continue to push the risk. But in this instance, because they're trading our money, they decided it was prudent to dial back the risk slightly to protect the fund at all costs. Now, we've still been getting returns of between 5 to 6% a week, which in real terms is absolutely extraordinary. You imagine this is a company giving 5 to 6% returns a week in a market where everything else is really not going in a good direction. So still an amazing opportunity. The other thing is and what the company does is they take our money, they pool the money, and they trade it from there, from Monday to Friday, every week. And this is exactly what the banks do. When you put your money into a bank account, they pull that money, they trade that money, they make billions of dollars a year, and they'll pat you on the head and give you 0.5% interest at the end of it. So this is why the banks are so wealthy. It's not because they make money from your fees or whatever. It's because they take your money, they leverage your money, and they make money with markets like the Forex market. Now, one of the first questions we had, which is a pretty obvious one, which is how do we know that CashFX is trading? How do we know that these amazing results they've been getting are real? And that is, the most fundamental part of the business. We know that if the trading is real, then everything else flows from there. And under those circumstances, the first thing you do is you look at the broker. The broker is an integral part of the trading process. Basically, CashFX gives the broker the money, they hold the money, CashFX makes the trade, they then instigate that trade, money in, money out, wins, losses, etc. So a broker can see firsthand exactly what's going on with a company. They can see how much money they're trading, how the type of trading they're doing, and how successful that is. Now, there are brokers and there are brokers. Again, I get pitched all the time on projects, and the first thing I do is look at the broker. And again, usually I'm not impressed. There's someone that is nobody, someone you wouldn't know who they are, maybe even owned by the very company trading. Those are real red flags. There are also very reputable traders out there that are non-regulated, and they choose to go down that route because it's less restrictive on their practices. And they can still be good companies. But if you want the pinnacle, then you're looking for a regulated company. And CashFX are partnered up with a company called EverFX. Now, they're an internationally recognized, multi-award winning, multi-regulated broker. For example, they've been voted best new multi-asset broker, best online CFD broker, and they're currently regulated by CISEC, which is the Cypriot authorities, which covers most of Europe. They're also regulated by the Cayman authorities, and they're currently going through the process of being audited by both the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority here in the UK, and also the South African authorities. And again, the reason they want to be regulated by these multiple broker institutions is because what it does is it opens up different markets for them around the world. When you have a regulated broker, what it means is when you put your money into them, they are as good as a bank. In fact, many ways better, because often the money is insured. So when you're dealing with a company like EverFX, you're dealing with a world-class company. Again, they're actual official global partners and sponsors of Sphere FC, the Spanish football club. So this is a top-end company. And the reason I'm talking about this is because there's a great video. If you haven't seen it, ask the person that introduced you to get hold of it. It's an 8-minute video of the Chief Operations Officer of EverFX standing up on stage and talking about his background, a very experienced guy, was he being the COO of a company like this. He's been in the industry quite a long time. He talks about the relationship with the authorities, why they're being multi-regulated. He also talks about the relationship between EverFX and CashFX. And as you'll see, he doesn't pull any punches. He talks about how special the company is. The trading they're doing is world-class. He talks about the way the traders make the markets come to them. And of course, this is someone that has seen thousands of traders over the years in his life in the broker industry. And to say what he's saying and how impressed he is with the business really is testament to how good the company is. So it's really important to understand, if you've got a regulated broker that is currently being audited by the FCA, they have to be squeaky clean. If you know anything about financial regulation, it is severely restrictive. You literally have to toe the line. Everything has to be written down. You're not allowed to say anything that could be misleading or whatever. In fact, when you're registering customers, you also have to sort of tell them categorically they could lose their money, and they have to sign everything to say they're going to do that. So really ultra cautious, ultra conservative. So if you have the COO of a regulated broker standing on a stage talking about a company in that way, it guarantees that whatever that company is doing is exactly what they are saying they're doing, because there's no way they'd say otherwise. If CashFX was not delivering exactly what they're saying and the returns they're getting, there's no way he would actually be saying or certainly recommending them, that's for sure. Now, this is important because once you understand that, everything else I'm going to talk about flows from there, because the returns that are made from the trading, that is what fuels this business. So if you're someone that just wants to be a passive member and earn from the trading, that's where the money's coming from. It's coming from the trading results the company's getting. If you're someone that wants to go and build a team as well, the commissions from that, again, is coming from the trading. Everything flows from there. Now, when I'm also looking at companies, one of the other things I look at very carefully is who's behind the company. Because obviously, if you're going to, for example, if I'm investing in a startup company, I want to know that those people are reputable. I want to know the fact that they are going to be capable of taking the company where I want it to go to, so I can see a return on my investment. And it's no different here. Huascar Lopez is a very special individual. He has a highly educated background. His background, his father was a lawyer. His mother is a professor from a university. He himself was studying a degree in medicine, but decided to switch to a business degree because he felt that was his leaning. He is a phenomenally successful person. I mean, he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And he has ventures in everything from property through to land, through to manufacturing. He also is very successful in network marketing, which was a key thing for us. When you look at any company, it's important to have someone that knows the industry, and he's very experienced in that. He's done very well in that market. He's also very educated in Bitcoin trading as well. He recently cashed out, I understand, nearly $90 million from his Bitcoin holdings. So this is a guy that is very successful, really knows what he's doing, and he has a passion for this business. He set up CashFX as a way of giving back to people, a business model where people can earn a lot of money even from a small amounts of effort, in the business. So he is investing millions of dollars into the project. That's again another tick for a box for us. He's putting his money where his mouth is. For example, the new headquarters, he spent $2.2 million so far. He's got a legal team which are some of the best in the industry. The legal team they're using is based in Washington, D.C. They used to be the ex-litigation arm of the Securities and Equities Commission, so it doesn't get better than that. And that is what we've seen with Huascar. It's very typical of the way he works in business. Everything he does is the best. He doesn't mind spending money, but he spends it very well. And John, in particular, has been working very closely with Huascar and seen firsthand the way he thinks, the way he's creating the business, the way he's thinking 5 years ahead. So this is a guy that really knows what he's doing. He's a very good captain of the ship, and he has a real strong vision for the company. Now, the other owner is Edwin Abad. Edwin is the guy that is talked about by the COO of EverFX in his presentation. He's, again, a successful businessman. He has an engineering, he ran an engineering company and is a multimillionaire in his own right. But he's also an amazing trader. And this is what the COO of EverFX is talking about on that video, the fact that again, he's seen thousands of traders over the years, and what Edwin does is very special. He trades without emotion, which is a key thing when you're trading large sums of money. But again, highly recommended by the COO of EverFX. So this is a guy that really knows what he's doing, and he heads up the trading team. Just some stats on the business. We have 20,000 members in the business at the moment and growing very rapidly. As you can see, we've got heading towards 300 people on this call. So the business is growing very fast around the world. We're in 100 countries, 71,000 successful payouts. Again, that's a key thing. I've been with the company now just over 9 months, and the company's not missed a beat for myself or anyone in my team or anyone else for that matter. They've been perfect in that manner. They actually use a third-party payment processor, which is obviously clearly a very good one. But again, typical of Huascar, he wants complete control. He's actually bringing the process in-house to absolutely guarantee future payouts. 100% proprietary technology. And what that means is the fact that companies developing their own trading systems. Again, trading systems are important when you're trading large sums of money, because what it does, it trades without emotion, and it does things like scalping, for example, where it does millions of little tiny trades, making those little profits along the way, which means it's a very safe way to trade, but also gives very high returns. And you can buy these bots, as they're called, off the shelf, but those are no good. And there are companies, again, that when you look at them, you see that they bought in a bot and they may be trading well now, but the problem is with bots is they don't change as the market changes, and therefore they can actually then end up being not successful. So again, what these guys are doing, they're developing their own in-house programs. They work on them and tweak them all the time. And I'll just talk about a little bit more about that in a minute. So this is the CashFX team, and there's John. So as I said, John, my enroller, he's been working closely with the company. He's now actually the marketing director of the company. And those of you that are in the business already will see John regularly doing presentations and stuff. So this is the trading team. This is a world-class team. They've all been trading for a long time, highly successful. John Wilson is the master trader, the head of the trading team, and John Lowestoft is the engineer. So it's a combination of traders and engineers. And John is the guy that is developing and will constantly working on the EI, which is expert advisor, and AI, artificial intelligence technology. So what they do is they go out there, they look at the market as they would do normally, and then they constantly tweak the technology so to optimize it all the time. So it's basically a system that is working all the time, making thousands of little trades that make that money as we go along. So this is a world-class trading team, and as I said, the results that I've been getting since I've been with the company. Now I must stress, past results are no guarantee of future results. But obviously, you know, it's an indicator. But these guys have been getting returns of anywhere from 5 to 13% since I've started with the company. And as I said, just recently, they've dialed back the risk slightly again, just to make sure the fund is protected, which is exactly what you would expect of world-class traders. And remember, 5 to 6% in any market per week is a stunning return. And in a market like this, that is really an incredible return. Couple more things on the due diligence. And again, as I said, the people behind the business are always important. And this is another gentleman I want to bring to your attention. Ron Pope is someone that is a very well-known businessman. I don't know him personally, but I know people that do know him personally. And the fact that he was involved in the company, they were very impressed. Ron is a businessman based in the US. He is a businessman that has built many companies over the years, and also he works as a business consultant where he takes on projects where the company may be struggling and he will turn the company around. He's also the co-founder and president CEO of the Conversion Pros, which is a high-end premier global software company that specializes in custom software development, back office tools, commission tracking, online marketing, basically everything, the infrastructure of the back office of a company. And the company works with everything from Fortune 500 companies to many network marketing companies around the world. They're in 60 countries. So this is a high-end, as I said, they're known as a premier global software company. So any company that employs the Conversion Pros is a company that's wanting the best, you know, because there are developers and there are developers. Well, this guy and his company is the best in the field. So the very fact that CashFX has Ron and his team working on the project is a real tick box, but it goes one stage further than that. Ron, as I said, has been involved with many network marketing companies over the years, working in the background, but with CashFX, he's actually put his name to the business and is actually a member. He's out there building a team. He's introducing people to the business. So he can see everything that's going on with the company, and he's been so impressed that he's actually out there building the business because he can see what a phenomenal opportunity it is. So that, again, was another big tick box for us. And finally, and by no means least on the due diligence, is the headquarters of the company. There's a lot of, as an online company, there are a lot of companies out there that don't have a headquarters. That was a big red flag for me. There are companies out there that have leased offices. Again, I don't like that when I see that because a leased office doesn't mean anything. You can do a runner with that. But again, CashFX are very different. They've actually purchased outright the whole 9th floor of the RBS Tower, which is a prestigious building in a prestigious part of Panama City, and they are spending millions on the project. As I've already mentioned, they've spent $2.2 million so far. Carolina Venturi is the architect, and several people in my team, including John, have already visited the offices and been mightily impressed with what they've seen. The offices are going to be opened in the next month or so, and when it is, it's going to have the most advanced trading floor in the Southern Hemisphere. So again, this is typical of Waskar and the guys. They are spending money when money needs to be spent. So we're going to have an absolute world-class office, and it's going to have an open door policy. So people will actually be able to go and visit the offices, walk around, see what's going. So if you're in the area, you can literally drop in and you'll be welcomed with open arms. So just in summary, just on the due diligence, I invest in startup companies, and I look at various aspects of the business, and again, same thing. When I'm introduced to a network marketing business, I do exactly the same thing. I look at all these aspects of the company, and there's usually red flags, at least one or two, and often many. That's why I don't touch those businesses. That's why I've been out of the industry for quite a long time. But with this company, there is no red flags. Every single box is ticked. Whichever way you look at it, they're working with world-class brokers that are highly recommending them. So as I said, when you've got a regulated broker going out of their way to recommend the company, you've got a special company. You've got a company that's investing millions in their headquarters, in their legal side, bringing their payment process in-house. They're going to be launching some new products coming up. For example, there's going to be what's called a copy trading product where people will be able to actually put their money directly into EverFX, which is, as I said, is as good as a bank account. And then CashFX will make the trade, and then your account will copy that trade. So again, they're working closely with their brokers. So, as I said, one thing I must stress, okay, and as an investor, I wish this wasn't the case, but there is no guarantees in life, guys. It doesn't matter how good a project looks, things can go wrong. This is business at the end of the day. There's no such thing as an infallible business. However, you can minimize the risk. As I said, when I'm looking to invest in a startup company, I minimize my risk by doing my due diligence. As I said, still no guarantees, unfortunately, but by minimizing the risk, by doing the due diligence, that really helps and increases your chance of success. And with this company, as I said, I've been mightily impressed with what I've seen. And this is why, the rewards plan and everything else is great, but unless you have this behind it, then that means nothing. But with this company, every box is ticked. So that's a really important point. And this is why I wanted to spend the time on that. Now, let me just change my screen. Brian, could you just make sure that you could see my screen? I just want to make sure you can see this. You can just bring your picture back on so I can see you. Give me a thumbs up.
I can see it, Richard. Yep.
Great. All right. Thanks very much. Thanks. Okay. Sometimes on Zoom, when I change screens, sometimes you can't see it. So I just don't want to be talking away and you're not understanding what I'm talking about. Okay. So the way CashFX works. Now, one of the things I've already mentioned, they're going to be bringing in copy trading, which means you'll be able to have your own broker account. The problem with that kind of setup, and as I said, maybe Waskar will get around this when we get it, but often because you're only trading one small account, that means you don't have the leverage there, which means you may have to start with the $5,000 contract or something like that. And so, but with the way the company is currently set up, by pooling the trading money, it means that people can start for as little as $300, which is what Waskar wanted. He wanted a business that people can start for as little as possible. And out of interest, I actually started at $300. Now, I'm a business builder. I've been in the industry a long time, and I did that for a specific reason, because I wanted to show what could happen if you start with $300 and build a team and use that money to upgrade my way all the way up to the 100K contract. But people can start, as I said, for as little as $300. And you can start wherever you feel appropriate. The contracts start from 300, they go all the way up to a 100K contract. And I have people joining at 100K, 70K, 50K, throughout my team. But the great thing is people can start for as little as $300, which is something I really like about the business. And this is a one-time fee, by the way. There's no upfront fees, there's no monthly fees or anything like that. It's just one-time $300, which I think is really special. So what do you get for your $300? And I'll look at the $300 first because it's the first on the list. So when you buy a contract with CashFX, you get two things. You get an academy pack and a trade pool deposit. Okay, the 30% of the value of the contract, whatever level you come in at, whether it's a $500, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 contract, 30% is taken and put towards the academy pack. Now, what is that? Let me just move this over here. Okay, so basically, the company is actually listed as a training company, not a trading company, and so this is a big part of what CashFX does. They are offering a high-end accredited training program. This is going to be accredited by the Panamanian Ministry of Education, which I think is a first for a network marketing company to be actually accredited by government. And you can start off from the Elemental series, which basically introduce you to the world of Forex, learn the basics and become familiar with important terms and concepts. So you can start from the very beginning and work your way up to advanced trader. Now, you may be someone that doesn't want to do that. It's not that I don't want to do it, but I don't have time to do it. But it is something that I think is very valuable for people, particularly with what's going on in the world right now. Because this is a very valuable skill. If you would decide that you want to learn how to become a trader, then that means that you are independent. The great thing about the Forex market is a decentralized market. and there are around 80 to 90 million private or retail traders in the market. Just as an interest, they only make up 5% of the market. The market is dominated by the banks and institutions because obviously they see the value of this market as well. This is something that you can use with CashFX. You can be earning money from the trading whilst you're also learning a very valuable skill that you can use in the future. And the training series, or the academy series, goes from, as I said, the basic right the way through to advanced training, where you're getting one-on-one training, and also you're going through things like the mindset that you need to have to be a trader, which is a really important thing. You know, if you don't have the correct mindset, which is a mindset of being completely without emotion, then you can make mistakes. So this is an important part of the trading process that the company will train you. So this is a very valuable model. And again, this is being launched in the next couple of months. The other side you get is your money gets put towards the trade pool deposit. So $90 on a $300 contract, 30% is $90. The remaining $210 goes into the trading pool. So this is what the banks do. When you put your money into an account, maybe a small amount of money, but it goes into the pool that is traded. CashFX does exactly the same thing. That money is then traded Monday to Friday in the Forex market. And every Saturday, at 5 p.m. Here in the UK, but it may be different times wherever you are around the world. And the company then pays you your trading returns, and that is money that you can withdraw. And this is a really important thing, guys, because this is a business that you can start for $300 and you can be starting to make profits in your first week. And because there's no monthly fees or anything like that, everyone who joins makes money in CashFX, every single person. And that's something I love. When I introduce someone to CashFX, I know that they're going to make money. So if you come into this business, you're going to make money. And if you decide to refer others, they will also make money. That's a very powerful thing. Guess what? In a market like now where people are hurting, people don't have incomes coming in, this is a powerful thing. If you look at the market right now, there are so many people that didn't feel they needed a plan B. Well, there's a real wake-up call to the fact that you really do need a plan B. As a businessman, I have multiple ways of making money. I actually don't have a pension. The reason I don't have a pension is because I don't like pensions. And I do things like invest in startup companies and other things like that as a way of creating my own pension, if you like. So I have plan A, B, C, D, E. And CashFX is an amazing way for people to have a plan B. Also, a lot of people don't have pensions. So again, if you haven't got a pension, then what's your plans regarding when it comes to retirement? So if you don't have investments or other things like that, then this is a fantastic way of creating an income so that you've got a comfortable retirement. And I just wanted, well, what I'll do is I'll explain basically how this works, and then I'll do a little comparison. So a $300 contract, when you buy a $300 contract, you get, as I said, the Academy Pack, you also get the trade pool, and the deal is that you will get 2 times the value of the contract back. So a $300 contract will return $600. And how long will that take? Completely depends on the trading. And again, this was a real tick box for me when I looked at this, because I get shown businesses where they're giving fixed percentage returns or specific time frames or compounding, all these things. These are huge red flags. If you see any business like that, run a mile. The great thing about CashFX is if the trading's doing really well, then the speed of the packs increases. If it's doing less well, they slow down. That is really important from a sustainability point of view. So basically, you buy a $300 contract, the money's traded, and every week you're going to get your returns. And over a period of time, you're going to get 2 times the price of the original purchase, $600 in this instance. Now, what can you do with that money? Anything you like. You can take the money and run. It's your money. You can do whatever you want with it. You could buy another $300 contract and just pocket your profits. Or you can do what most people do, is use some of the profits to upgrade to the next contract up. Now, why do you want to do that? It's because you're now making more money passively from the money you've earned from the trading results. So I'll give you an example. One of the great things that CashFX does is they allow us to upgrade to the next level up without paying the full amount. So you don't have to pay $500. If you withdraw your money and take some of the profit and upgrade before the $300 contract completes at $600, you can upgrade to the $500 contract by just paying the difference, i.e. $200. Now, the reason that is important, because it means that you can upgrade and upgrade and upgrade without putting any more money in. I've gone from a $300 contract to a 100K contract without putting a single penny more money into the business. So you start off with a $300 contract, you're getting the money being traded, you're getting your returns, you're withdrawing your money, and when you've got enough money, $200, you can upgrade to the next contract up $500. And you can keep doing that, going up to the next level, 1K. Now, you can stop at any time. You don't have to upgrade. You can just say, I'm happy staying at the 1K contract. I'll wait till it completes at 2K, pocket my difference, and then pay for another 1K contract. Or, as I said, you can keep going, 2K, 5K, etc., all the way up to the 100K contract. And the idea being is that someone can start off with as little as $300, and you can work your way up to the 100K contract in just a matter of a few years. Now, I just want to do a comparison here. Some of you may have a pension. Many of you maybe don't have a pension. But if you look at a pension as an example, you'd be putting in 50, 100, 200, 300 or more money into a pension every single month. When you put it into a pension, that money is gone. You can't have access to it again. And you do that for 20, 30 years with the hope of getting a pension at the end of it. Now, there's a big problem right now because the markets are being decimated. There's a good chance that many of those pensions are not going to be performing at all. As a contrast, you can start with cash FX for $300. And remember, your money is not being put in the stock market. It's being traded on the Forex market, which is recession-proof and a $5.3 trillion a day market. And you can then grow that money over time until you get up to the 100K contract, where you're earning thousands of dollars a week. And you can do that in a matter of a few years. As I said, I can't give you time frames. Depends on how the traders are doing. It could be anywhere from 2 years, it could be anywhere 5 years, but you will get there in a fraction of the time it will take for you to get up to the top levels. And again, as I've already mentioned, trading is risky. You've got to point that out, and past results are no guarantee of future returns. But at the end of the day, this company has a very good track record, and they're doing things right. So there's a good chance here. And of course, remember, your risk is if you put money into a pension, you'd be putting $100,000 or more into a pension. You're starting off with little as $300. Now, why would you want to come in with a higher contract? The only reason you want to come in with a higher contract is because you're earning more money more quickly, and you can get up to the 100K contract a little quicker. But one thing I would say, guys, and this is really important, start with what you're comfortable with. Don't bet the farm or remortgage the house or anything stupid like that. Just come in with a level you're comfortable with. Whether you're comfortable with a 30K contract, a 10K contract, or a $300 contract, start with whatever you're comfortable with. As I said, I started off with a $300 contract because I'm a business builder. I wanted to show people how quickly I can get up to the 100K contract. I did it in 8 months. Now, I might add, that is not normal. I've put a huge amount of effort into that. I'm also someone that is experienced in the business. So if you've never done this before, it would take you longer than that. But I've got people in my team. In fact, there's a lady going to be talking a little bit later this evening that's never done this before. And she has got a team of 250 people. And I think she's now on her way to her 40K contract. So that's what's possible if you go out there and introduce people to this business. And that's something I'm going to talk about a little bit now. So that's the product. So the product is an item that will make you money, and you can also use the Academy program to learn a very valuable skill. That's optional. It's up to you whether you want to do that, but you've got a world-class product there to enable you to do that, to give you the very best chances to be a very good trader. So that's the product, but you can also make money by referring others. Now, by the way, guys, I appreciate that this is a lot of information, and I'm just going to give you a flavor on this because otherwise it's almost information overload, particularly if this is the first time you've seen it, but just to give you a flavor of how this works. So basically, let's move this over here again. So basically, when you buy a contract, in this case, the example is a 1K contract, everyone is what's called a bear member. A bear member is someone that is just a passive member that is going to not introduce anyone to the business and make money. And if that's the case, as a bear member, the 70%, remember, is taken and put towards the trading pool, and you will get 2 times your bear capital back. So $1,000 is going to be $2,000. Okay. However, the 30% is taken for the academy program, and the person that introduced you, they are going to get 50% of the fast start, which in this case is $150. And there's also a Unilevel, which is paid down through 10 levels, where the other 50% goes into as well. And there's an additional $2,000 available from this contract. So this is a way, by referring people, you can make a lot of money with this business. Now, one thing I must stress, again, this is a business. If you want to do this, if you're going to take it seriously, it does take effort. This is not something that you can just turn up and do nothing and make money. But it is a real business. If you treat it like a real business, for example, if you've had a business and you're now twiddling your thumbs and not knowing what to do with what's going on, this is something that you can really get your teeth into and make very serious money. So let's just have a look at the fast start. So the fast start, as I've mentioned, is 50% of the academy program. So when you buy a contract, whatever size it is, that 30% is taken, and in the case of the $300, that is $90, and 50% of that, or $45, is then paid to the person that introduced you. So I'll use myself as an example. When I joined, I started off with $300, and when I did that, John was paid $45, which is not a lot of money. But let me show you how clever Waskar is in setting up what he set up. Because I then started making money from the trading, I started making money from introducing people to the opportunity as well. And so I managed to upgrade to the $500 very quickly, at which point John received another 50% fast start. I then upgraded to the 1,000, then the 2,000, then the 3,000, then the 5,000, and so on. Every single time John was receiving those fast starts, and they were getting bigger and bigger. Now that I'm on the 100K contract, every time I renew that contract, and of course I will do that, it's the same as all the contracts. You buy a 100K contract, it then completes a 200K, you pocket your profits, and then you buy another 100K contract. That then pays John $15,000. Now I just want to put this into parentheses. You can start off with $300. You can introduce just 3 people to the opportunity, a way for them to make money. They're going to make money, so they're not going to quit. That's one of the great things also about this business. No one has quit my business. No one has left. I've got a team of 4,500 people now. No one has left my team. Why? Because everyone is making money. So if you introduce 3 friends or family for $300, they will start making money straight away, money that they can withdraw every Saturday, and they will then, over time, be able to upgrade and upgrade and upgrade. And over a period of time, they will get to the 100K contract. And when they are, that little setup of you starting with just $300, your own account will be generating thousands of dollars a week. The people that you've introduced will all be on 100K themselves, obviously very happy. And you'll be making roughly, depending on trading results, this is not a guaranteed number, it will fluctuate depending on how the trading's doing, but around $160,000 a year. So just think about that, guys. You've come on $300, introduced 3 people for $300, and you can make that over time. And you'll be making money all the way along. I think that is a pretty special way of doing things. And as I said, Hazel is going to be talking tonight, and I won't steal her thunder. She'll be sharing with you what's happened to her. But she's a grandmother. She's never done this before, and she's introduced a remarkable number of people. So it's amazing if you think what she's going to earn over time with her business. I'm just going to stop here after the Unilevel, because there are more ways that we can make money, but it's almost a little bit of too much of an overload. But basically, the Unilevel is, you have the 50% that goes to the fast start, the person introduced you, but there's also a way you can earn off multiple levels of the business. So as you introduce people, they introduce people, and so on and so forth, and that can massively leverage your time. This is, again, a feature I love about this business. This is why I got involved in network marketing in the first place, because it's not just about your own efforts. If you're a sole businessman, you're out there making those sales, you're like a hamster on a treadmill working away. This is something that you get paid again and again and again for one-time effort. So as I said, when you introduce someone, they then introduce some of their own friends, and when that happens, you then receive this 50% Unilevel bonus. And this is split down through 10 levels. But as you can see, Waskar set this up. So for when people are starting off, the biggest payout is at the lower levels. Why? Because he wants not just the big business builders, but everyone to make money with this opportunity. So when you first start, levels 1 to 4, you get 10% on that. If you do a little bit of work in the business, I've got lots of people in my team getting up to, I think we've got about 45 people in my team that have gone to executive. Then when you get executive, you then get 20% down levels 5 and 6. And I just want to put this into perspective. You can have one person on this, your fifth and sixth levels of your business that have got up to the 100K contract, and they renew a contract, you're going to receive $3,000. So this is why this is such a special opportunity, because people can start off small and you can build up. And if you don't want to introduce people, you don't have to. You can just literally sit there, let your account grow, or you can take your money and just do, as I said, just keep recycling the $300 contract. Whatever way you want to do it with this business, it's absolutely fine. But it is a fantastic business. I've been in the industry now for 20 years. I've never seen a company like this. I always have a risk-reward ratio when I'm looking at any kind of investment, like when I'm investing in startups, and this risk-reward ratio is exceptional. So you've got a company, just in summary, that has a low startup cost. It's a company that is doing everything right. It's got people behind it that really know what they're doing. You've got a trading team that is clearly world-class. You've got a regulated broker that is going out of their way to recommend the company. And I can't tell you how important that is. That is a really special thing. They're spending millions of dollars on their headquarters. This is a very, very good business, guys. And as I said, you can start for as little as $300. So I urge you to get back to the person that introduced you and get your questions answered. There are, by the way, more ways that we get paid, but there's too much information, I think, if I start going into that. But it's an amazing opportunity. So get back to the person who introduced you and get your questions answered. But I'm going to pass you back to Luigi because he's going to be introducing a few special guests. So thanks very much for listening in. I appreciate your time.
I'm going to bring on two amazing presenters. If I'm not wrong, they're both in Richard's team. First person I want to introduce is Hazel Moore. I've seen her online for so many years. I can't wait to hear some of her wisdom and what she has to say. I know that she's been with us already for a good while, and she's also achieving a lot of success. But you know what? I'm going to let you, Richard, share your thoughts about each test. I'm going to let you bring them on because you know them more than me, Richard.
Yeah, I met Hazel actually online, didn't I? First time I communicated with you. I introduced her. She explained. I don't want to take too much for thunder, but she is a grandmother. She's never done network marketing before, and what she's achieved is remarkable at doing what she's doing. And I've just seen her grow from the beginnings, and she asked me questions all the time about what's this, what's going on, and people would ask her questions that she couldn't answer, so she'd come back to me and we'd answer them. But we've been working together really well as a team, and as I said, I'm so impressed. When I do my presentations, I often talk about Hazel because Hazel is a great example of what you can do with this business. So without further ado, let me just introduce Hazel.
Yeah, hi. You want me to speak now?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm Hazel. I live in England, and it's true, I am a grandmother. I'm not far off my 3 school years and 10, and found myself last August joining Richard in CashFX. So I joined at the end of August with a $1,000 contract, and now I'm building my CashFX business. It's true, I don't have an MLM background, but as I said, I started with 1,000K back at the end of August, and within 6 months that had turned into a 30,000K contract without me adding another penny of my own money. So I became an executive in a couple of months, and now I'm getting ready to upgrade to the 40K contract. Now, how did I do that? Well, Facebook. Facebook was my best friend, and I treated Facebook as a business, and I just started posting every day something about CashFX, sometimes twice a day, posted it to the story and so on and so forth. So I posted it on my personal timeline because people knew me, friends and family, of course. And the more I posted about CashFX, the more Facebook algorithms brought people to my Facebook and my notifications that were aligned with that. So over time, that started to change for me. So different niche of people started to be attracted to me. So that's how I did it. You know, it was easy, it was fun, and people started messaging me privately in Facebook. Would I speak to them? So jumped on a Zoom, started chatting to them all, answering questions. Like Richard said, I'd be texting him, ringing him, and saying, how do I answer this? What's this about? I couldn't get the maths of it at all. It took ages for the maths of it all to sink in to my head. So that's what I did. And now I've enrolled 37 people frontline to me. And as Richard said, my downline is now about 250 and growing. So, you know, what can I say? You know, if you're tech challenged, if you think you're too old, whatever you think, it's hogwash. Just get involved, just start, and you will be amazed. So that's my story. It's very powerful and it's short and to the point. Just turn and understand money and how people make money. It's very powerful in these challenging times. And Richard's been so good. I love Richard. He always makes me smile when I've been a bit down, and yeah, and I make him smile too. So thank you, Richard.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant, Hazel. Well done. Thanks very much. You're doing an amazing job. So let me introduce the next speaker, Brian. I've known Brian, I don't know, quite a long time. It must be about 20 years nearly, right from when I first started. Brian is a professional businessman. He's also a professional networker. He's been very successful in the industry. He joined the company literally just a couple of months ago. And is already achieving phenomenal results. We were hoping that he was going to go manager by now, but he's literally in the next few days. So he's doing an amazing job. So let me just pass you over to Brian.
Thanks, Luigi. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, welcome everybody. I am just very grateful for the opportunity. I was shown this business about 7 months ago, and quite honestly, when I looked at it initially, I thought it was, actually, I thought, no, that's a scam. I didn't like it at all. I looked at, you know, where the company was from. I looked at the percentages, and I just said, no, that's not for me. I've been around network marketing for over 35 years. And I can truthfully say that never in my experience in the industry have I came across a company where 100% of those who join get paid in the first week and make money. No monthly auto ships, no monthly fees, and no attrition, which, I mean, that's got to be an industry first. I joined on the 9th of February, thanks to Roy. And we're building a phenomenal team. I've got some incredible guys who just see the vision. They've got the belief in the company, totally transparent. I mean, I love everything about what the guys are doing. And I'm not aware of any other network company that are getting these sort of numbers on calls. The backup, the support from Justin, Luigi, John, yourself is phenomenal. And I'm very, very grateful for it. So we still might hit the manager this evening, but I'll not be found wanting. So thanks very much. Thanks to everybody in the team. And I just say, do your own due diligence, guys, because this is a life changer for everybody, especially in the financial situation that everybody's in at the moment. We've got an incredible opportunity while people are at home. And what better product can you have than a product that grows people's money in a financial environment like today? So thanks very much, guys, and good night.
Brian, thanks very much. That's a brilliant testimonial. And, you know, I know how hard you're working. You're taking this very seriously. So let me know when you go manager, and we'll congratulate you on the chats and everything else.